to episode 47 of Coach Taylor Radio. I am only an hour and a half behind schedule recording this today. Hello to YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube. Again, I'm not going to look at you all the time, but I might. I think I might also throw on a Facebook live stream this morning, because why not? Because why not add more mics and cameras looking at me? How exciting could that be? Yeah, so we are getting into now here episode 47 of this weekly podcast, and I don't mind doing it every week. I just keep adding more fun shit to it, and how much fun is that? What are we talking about on today's episode? We're going to do an update on my 2019 Health Odyssey. Oh yeah, I'm going to get into, I promised last week, why low-carb diets and paleo people are so fucking stupid. I think maybe the meditating is not making me calmer. I don't know. Also going to talk about why most fitness research, and these days almost all research into health, is actually pretty much useless. I had a couple people send in questions, so we're going to talk about some stuff, low back pain, and actually a really great question because it's right on point with what my wife and I have been talking about a lot, and we've been talking about with some people, is eating while watching TV. Should you be doing it? And more than that, we're just going to talk about mindful eating. As I record this intro, I think those are all the topics. I may throw in one more, but maybe not. Yeah, so I'm going to turn on the live stream as I get into this too, so I might get questions, answer those that way. And if you want to watch this, watch it on YouTube. It's going to be up there too. Probably a little later than when I put the actual podcast up. But so far we're on recording version 1. Also, as always, my podcast is sponsored by me, ttonline.ca. If you want to train with myself or my team, because people do ask, ttonline.ca, $10 for a 10-week trial. Now look, today, 10-week, guys, $10 for a 1-week trial. Whoops. Today is April 1st, and we are starting a spring fitness challenge that is based on my Odyssey. So if you want to participate in that, you can message us, message me. Essentially, if you buy, I think, a 3-month pack on the online right now, we will put you into this program for no extra cost. And it's going to be pretty awesome. We've got a great group of people doing it, private Facebook group, been working with me, my coaches, my wife, everybody. And it's going to be modeling a lot of the stuff that I'm doing. And let me tell you, as we go into the update, it's good stuff. So ttonline.ca, or message me anywhere you're watching or listening to this, because I am not a hard person to get a hold of at all. I'm going to switch us up, turn on the live stream, and then get into episode 47. Hello, Facebook. I wasn't gonna live stream, but then I was like, fuck it. I'm already recording for YouTube, and I'm recording on my podcast, and my podcast is giving me like 3 new places, and it's going on YouTube, so I'll leave this up on live stream. If people want to watch, they can. If not, don't. Whatever makes you the happiest. That's what I'm here for. That is what I'm here for. All right, let's get into recording the podcast. Okay, Health Odyssey 2019. Yeah, the Health Odyssey update. So look, it's April 1st. January, February, March. 3 months, 12 months in a year, 25%. I'm 25% of the way through this whole year already. That's a quarter done. So anyone that's been following along or listening or reading about it, people are like, oh my God, a year is so long. Let me tell you something. I still feel like it's new and like I've just started with this program. I don't want to say program. With this Odyssey. That's why I called it the Odyssey. That's the right name for it. I feel like I've just started. I don't really feel like it's... If you read my journal later after the year, I'll say it's boring. And we're going to talk about that a little bit here. But it does still feel new. It doesn't feel like a set habit. And I think that that's really important to talk about, because I don't think, even after 3 months, 12 weeks, maybe 13 weeks, I don't know how it's working out, I don't think that anything is actually a forever habit yet at this time, right? Even after 3 months. And that's why the Odyssey is a year long, and it has to be a year long, is I think that it takes at least a year to really truly not just create habits, but to change the way that you are and live. And there's no point doing something if you're not going to do it to the point that it's going to actually change something about you. Because that's the problem with all these 3-week, 6-week programs and 8-week programs and 12-week programs, right? Yes, I know we have a 2-month program going on. We use it as a kickstart to get people going. But we tell people right off the top, 8 weeks is not enough to change your life and to instill all these new unbelievable habits. It's just not enough time. You have to do something for a year before it becomes completely and totally a part of what you're doing. And that's what these fitness and lifestyle and health changes should be about. The goal should be to actually change you. Because whatever you were unhappy with or wanted more of for your fitness and health before, you have to change, right? And it's not just about putting in a new habit or anything like that. It's literally, you have to change you. And that takes a long, long time. So yeah, it's not really like an ingrained habit yet. And even though it's 25% done. Like, all right. Sorry, podcast, I'm reading YouTube or Facebook comments now. Yes, I also wish more people were willing to put in the effort, Courtney. I really, really do. And that's why we're doing this program with our online training and why I'm doing this Odyssey and putting out so much fucking information about it. Because I can tell you, after this amount of time, I've been really happy with the number of people who comment and send in like questions and who are making changes themselves. Like since I put out my fasting article 2 weeks ago, the number of people have messaged me and been like, oh man, I'm starting to add some fasting to my life. I'm like, fuck yeah, that's awesome. I'm getting messages almost every day now. Almost every day I'm getting messages of people who are not doing the full Odyssey like I'm talking about and I'm going through, but are making some small changes. Hi Amy, hi studio. And if we can make these little changes over the course of the next 20 years, like that's what we got to change, right? We've got to change our timeline. Our timeline can't be 3 months. Our timeline can't be 6 months. Our timeline has to be 20 years. Because the goal is that you want to live for another 20 years, maybe 40 years, maybe more. So when we talk about our health and our fitness, we have to talk about it in a way that we're planning for 20, 30, 40 years from now. And when we get onto those kinds of timelines, if you don't have the best supper tomorrow, it's not that big of a deal, right? But if 6 out of 7 dinners are not healthy, then you've got a problem. 1 out of 7, not such a big deal, right? So that's really what the Odyssey is all about. And I'm really happy that people are following along with it. I've got a couple people that are doing it hardcore with me, and I got to have a group of people that are kind of doing it with me. It's going to be awesome. What else is going on? Dealing with my shoulder pain. That sucks balls. That's what's in my notes. If you can watch on YouTube, look, I can actually lift my shoulder overhead. Now I'm going to Muay Thai shortly, and that's probably gonna. Don't watch this, physios. Please don't watch this. Luckily, I know good rehab peeps. Other thing, April 1st now. So the Turkish get up and the push-up challenge going strong. Means 4. We're now up to 4 Turkish get-ups per side per day. And the push-ups now go to 8 per day. See, here's what I'm talking about, right? So if you guys don't know, I issued a challenge to my warrior training group at my studio. I got a lot of people doing this. Turkish get-ups, greatest exercise of all time. Yeah, I think it is, actually. You have to do as many Turkish get-ups per side as the number of the months that you're in. So April, 4 a side, right? Last month was 3 a side. We started at 1 a side. Hello from Florida. Florida people don't talk to us because it's not hot here yet. God damn it. But hi. And then push-ups, double the number of the month that you're in. So it's the 4th month of the year. We're doing 8 push-ups a day. And this is every single day, 365 days, right? To do this, you end up doing, I think it's like 4,800 Turkish get-ups and like 4,400 push-ups by the end of it. Awesome, but these things are fantastic. And this is what I'm talking about. Little things every day. So in January, doing 1 Turkish get-up a side and 2 push-ups every day, not fucking hard. April, it's going to start to be a little bit more, but then past that, it's going to start to be a bigger part of your day. But it grows in every single day. Look, I can never remember what the name is of one of this ancient Greek mythological figure. But essentially, he picked up a calf when it was born, and he walked it to the top of a hill. And then he took it back down. And then the next day, he did the same thing. And he kept doing that every single day I believe for 6 months. So by the end, he was carrying a full cow all the way to the top of the hill and the bottom by just doing the little thing every single day with consistency. There it is. Now, I don't necessarily think you're going to go out and buy a baby cow, but if you want to, go for it. And if you get to the point where you can carry a full-grown fucking cow up a hill, God, man, that's going to be awesome. That's going to be super awesome. So that's going on. We're up to 4 and 4. What else is going on with the Odyssey? Journaling. Look, I'm still journaling every day because I said that I would. And when I commit to something, I fucking commit to something. But it feels really boring. Like, every day I'm like, okay, this is how the Odyssey's going. Still going well, still going well. So then I started to think, am I boring? And I think maybe a little bit I am pretty boring. And maybe that's the fear when people make a lot of health changes, right? But let's be honest. I didn't want to fucking go out drinking at the bar before this. Like, it's been, what is this, 2019? I don't think I've been to a bar for like 12 years, 11 years. And you couldn't pay me to go to one, right? Most restaurants are crap, so I don't know, we have people over, but I'm kind of boring, and so journaling, I'll keep doing it every day, even if it's super boring. Oh, Amy, good, I'm not the only one. Someone else is also bored of journaling. But there are days when I put in some really great stuff. So it's got to be a habit, it's got to be consistent. And actually, you know what, Amy? Thank you for messaging that. That's actually, I'm so happy to be talking to everybody right now because you just made me realize that journaling is basically just representative of what your fitness should be like. Most of the fucking time, it's probably pretty boring. Every once in a while, it's super fucking awesome. And that's what you got to go for. And having that record of those times, hey man, fuck, that's good stuff. Yeah, so that's going on with the Odyssey. Now look, everyone that's watching live right now, stay here for the next section. You're going to like it. You're going to like it. Yeah, so that's what's going on with the Odyssey. We'll update again next week. We're into April. It's still going strong. If anybody wants to try it out on a not as committed for a year-long basis, TT Online, we're doing the spring program, which is based on a lot of the stuff from this. Actually, a lot more than I thought it was. So it's gonna be a good challenge. That's what's going on with the update. Let's get into the rest of the episode. All right. Hello, Megan Simon. That's my sister. So if anyone's watching comments, it's cool when I get comments from people, but like even better when it's not like your family and your wife. No offense to family and wife, but talk to you guys all the time, bastards. All right, let's head on to the next topic now. I'm gonna try to keep this basically short, which never really works out for me, but I want to talk to you why the paleo people and the paleo diet and the ketogenic diet and the low carb diet and the carb phobia bullshit and now there's carnivore people, the carnivore diet, are all so fucking dumb. And I believe this. I don't think these people are dumb. I think most people are fucking bought into it. And then I think a lot of other people are looking at it really in the wrong context because it's just like everything else in fitness. Does it make you lose weight, right? And yeah, if you drop out all your carbs and just eat protein, your body might go ketogenic if you actually go low enough and burn off a bunch of fat. But here's the thing, that no one really goes ketogenic. Most of the people that do the keto diet might hit ketosis here and there, right? But so do people that fast, and it's not really what you're looking for. Ketosis is not sustainable long term. It is an emergency mechanism that your body has to protect your brain when your brain can't get enough glucose. That's right, a sugar. Your brain eats glucose because humans are supposed to eat carbohydrates to make glucose to fuel our muscles and our brain. That's literally how basic fucking physiology works. You need glucose. Excessive amounts of glucose, bad, right? Not enough, also bad. So our body developed this system called ketosis to create ketones when there's not enough carbohydrate in the diet so our brain doesn't die. It's a backup safety mechanism, right? Think about that. So people are essentially going to starve their brain in order to lose weight. And that is crazy shit. That's crazy shit. I'm trying, Darren, I'm trying. This is what nobody thinks about because we're so fucking single-minded focused on weight loss and six-pack abs that we're not thinking about what I've been talking about this whole episode so far. What about 20 years from now? What about 30 years from now? Because there's something you're not thinking about, right? All the talk right now in the world of health and fitness is microbiome, gut microbiome, right? The more we learn about it, I'm going to put an article about this, the more we learn about it, the more important it is. And we've only really known about this since like the 90s. Like this is newer shit. And it is by far the most important learning in science about our health that's happened in the last 150 years. In your colon, right? We're going to talk about your asshole right now, which is the end part of your colon, which is where digestion happens. There's bacteria in there. Those bacteria only eat one thing: fiber. Fiber, which is part of a carbohydrate-containing food, right? You've all heard about cows. Cows have multiple stomachs. They don't. They have something called a rumen in the root, because see, cows eat grass, or they're supposed to eat grass. They eat the grass, but they can't digest it. So the grass goes into this rumen, which is filled with bacteria. The bacteria digest the grass. Then the cow brings it back up and puts it into its main stomach because it can't digest it. The bacteria do it. And guess the fuck what? In your body, it's the same. No, we don't have a rumen. We have a colon, which is this part of our intestinal tract that's supposed to be filled with all this bacteria. That bacteria breaks down all the carbohydrate, especially the fibers, right? And lives in there. What happens is that bacteria colonizes, coats, fills up the lining of our colon and large intestine, and there's other bacteria in other parts of the body. I get that. I'm simplifying this as much as I can, right? It lines it all and stops all the bad bacteria that you don't want getting into your body. This shit's super fucking important for your life. If you don't eat fibrous, rich carbohydrates, those bacteria die. What then happens? You get inflammation in your body, in your intestines, right? That's it. That's why it's so basic. Like this is, I'm not making this up. This is real science. This is how the body works. So when you go keto and low carb and no carb and all of this kind of stuff, you're really fucking up your body in a horrible, horrible way. No, not tomorrow, not 3 months from now, and maybe you'll go on that vacation and everyone will be like, wow, look at that fucking sexy asshole walking down the beach with that fucking six-pack. God damn, that's sexy. And you can be super happy about that. But on the inside, you're all fucked up. And in 30 years, when you have fucking colon cancer, right, that they can't cure, and you fucking die, I hope that walk down the beach was fucking worth it. Because it's bad for you. And now we have the carnivore people. No carbohydrates, just meat. Holy fuck, you're gonna fucking kill yourself. And I don't care because you're stupid. And that is a little science lesson for y'all. And that's how it works. See, our Western diet now is really lacking in fiber already before starting these diets. Now, why do people love them so much? Because they lose weight and they get less fat. Is it because they've taken out carbohydrates? No, it's not. It's because when you go on any fucking diet and you stick to it, you stop eating stupid fucking shit. You stop eating shitty food. You stop eating Oreos and packaged cookies and deep-fried wings with deep-fried potatoes covered in whatever the fuck you cover it in, and then bread it and then deep-fry that. Or how about, like, you can deep-fry Oreos. Like, fuck, people do this. You stop eating that. When you stop eating shit, your body might lose weight because you don't have all the excess calories. Holy fuck. Like, you would think this wouldn't be so complicated or like so unknown. All the diets work the same way. You start eating better food in general. There's some really stupid ones out there, and it's just calorie restriction. I know a calorie is not just a calorie, Coach Taylor. There's different qualities of calories. Yes, I understand that. But when it comes to your weight, it's still mostly calories in, calories out in general. So what can you do about this? First, don't go on a low carb, no carb diet. Right? Don't do it. Eat your veggies. You need veggies. And then and then the people that go on no carb, what do they have to do? They supplement. They supplement the shit. Look, there is lots of data out there that our bodies don't recognize supplements. That's why taking vitamin supplements most of the time does nothing, because they're synthetic. Your body doesn't do it. It's almost like our bodies evolved to eat food, and we've developed things like, I'm from Seattle. I love Seattle. We've developed things like tongues and saliva and stomachs with acid and small intestines and large intestines to ingest whole food, break it up, and take it apart into its constituent elements, and then put it into the body where it needs to go. That's kind of like how the whole body works. So supplements don't do it. So when you take the fiber supplement, the fiber's not supposed to get out of the food until it hits your colon. If you put fiber into your stomach acid, I'm pretty sure that you're gonna fuck it up before it gets to where it needs to go, right? I don't know why people can't buy in to the not eat shit diet. So that's basically why paleo, low carb, and all that stuff is really fucking dumb. Our bodies work best when we eat whole, real foods. So you've got to make sure that you're getting it. And in our Western culture, I believe the guideline still is like 35 grams of fiber for men and 25 for women. That is really low compared to the guidelines of the rest of the world. And when they do research on indigenous, like hunter-gatherer style tribes, they eat dramatically more fiber than us. And colon cancer pretty much doesn't exist in their world. So it's really important that you get these things, and you've got to get your fiber in. And like, don't just get stuck, oh, okay, well, I can take fiber here. All those plant-based foods that give you the fiber come with some other shit too, like vitamins, minerals, healthy fats, all sorts of really amazing shit that your body kind of needs to, you know, live. So don't do those diets. Here, read Dr. Mark Hyman's book called Food, What the Heck Should I Eat? And just follow that. It's the only book out there right now about food that I think encompasses everything in a really good way, in the right proportions, that's based on the latest research and science. Yeah, look online, Facebook. I've gone so long on this talk that I've lost half the people that were watching. They were probably paleo people. And that's why that is such an important topic, and why you don't go on low carb. Go on smart, real fucking food diet. We got through that section. The next one may or may not be as interesting. We're going to talk a little bit about fitness research, but listen, there's going to be some good stuff coming up later. There's a topic everyone's got to listen to later. And if you can't stick around on live to watch it, listen to it on the podcast. The podcast. And for you guys that listen to my podcast, you're getting a preview. You're going to have to hear all this shit. Ross, you enjoy those leg raises. You enjoy those. All right, into the next topic. What are we going to go through? Let's talk about fitness research, okay? Because everyone wants to drop, like, have you done your research? Sure, you should do your research. First note, Instagram, not research, right? Why is most fitness research so ridiculous? I think I've talked about this before, but it just bears going over again. Go actually listen to some, or read some actual research. Go to the Journal of Strength and Conditioning, subscribe to it for years. Like, I read all this shit all the time. Like, read actual research studies. For anyone that has done statistics at a university level or like advanced university statistics, we know something called an N number. N number in a study is how many participants, subjects, are you researching. I remember, I'm getting old. I remember, because I did my undergrad 98 to 2003, I remember, so people like year 2000, so like 19 years ago, in statistics, we were pretty much told in our stats class, if your N number was less than a few hundred, the data wasn't really that good. All right, so now, and if you don't have the journal strength, go into PubMed or Google Scholar and just type in, like look up some fitness research. I want you just to look at the N number. I'm not fucking shitting you. This is real what I'm about to tell you. There are studies being published with N numbers of 4. 4 people. They take 4 people, test some shit on them for 4 weeks, and then publish a study. And then the media picks it up and says, here's how you train your body now. That's fucked up shit. I guess I think having all these cameras on me today is really getting me riled up. That's fucked up shit. 4? What the fuck? Like, I would say of all the research I've read recently, I would say the average N is like 15. And then we've got even more problems than that, right? Almost all of the studies that you see in fitness are done on college students with an average age of 22. They're often athletes, so they have a training background already, right? How representative is this of the population, right? And there's, I would say, probably 60 or 70% of the stuff that I can find is also done on men. Like, this is not representative, but then we extrapolate data from this and apply it to everyone else and then take this as like the word of fitness. The word of fit. It's crazy, right? So hang on, I'm reading my notes now. Oh yeah. What happened to older people? You know, older than 22. Because as we age, our physiology changes. Maybe we should look at some of that stuff. Not to mention, most of the protocols that are used in fitness studies are really fucking dumb. Like, they're still using treadmill tests. That's pretty much exclusive for all of cardio, treadmill tests, and leg extensions and hamstring curls machines to isolate those muscles. I'll be impressed when they do a study of 500 people, average age of 40, doing kettlebell swings to analyze cardiovascular health. That is a study we need to do, and I will stake a fuck ton of my reputation on the fact that the results from that study will show crazy good improvements to cardiovascular health and to strength health and to mobility, kind of like fucking everything. But no one's studying that, so we don't use those types of things, right? And then let's go even further on this. When we look at a lot of those studies, they'll show a significant change. In statistics, significant change is actually a pretty low number, right? You don't have to have like 90% of the people have a change to be considered statistically significant, right? There's different levels for different types of studies. But let's say we see a 4% strength gain on a protocol with 5 college athletes. What the fuck does that even tell us? Like, nothing. Like, okay, 5% strength gain. Did they move better? Is that like, it's not helping. It's not helping anything. It's just time. It's time to stop. Yeah, I'm gonna stop on that because I just want people to understand. It doesn't mean we shouldn't do research. It doesn't mean that we can ignore it, but we have to look at it in context and we have to use the data from it in a smart way. So just because a study comes out doesn't necessarily mean you should change your whole fitness program or stop eating things or anything like that, right? It's really important to know this, and most of the research out there right now is not good. It's not good. Got through that topic. Going to a listener question next. Not from today. If anyone that's watching this has any questions, drop them on there. Maybe I'll add it to the podcast. Maybe. Maybe. Alright, so I had a question written in about back pain and chronic low back pain. Might be able to talk a little bit about training with chronic low back pain or back pain in general. Someone's got aggressive spondylosis, exercises or anti-inflammatory food. These things would be really awesome. One of my dogs actually has spondylosis. So while it's a dog, not a human, I actually know a little bit about it. So here's the thing with any kind of pain. Pain is your body telling you something ain't right. So, should you train through pain? No. Unless you're an Olympic athlete and the Olympics are like 6 months away and you can't not train, no. I don't think you should train through pain. It's your body telling you something's not right and you really need to fix that shit, right? So it's really hard to do any kind of commentary on low back pain information because it's so broad, right? On that side note, there's no such thing as non-specific back pain, right? You'll have doctors, oh, this is non-specific back pain. You'll have researchers tell you that. Look up the work of Dr. Stuart McGill. He's a fucking expert on back pain, and he's the first one to tell you there's no such thing as non-specific back pain. Pain is your body telling you something's not right, and we got to figure it out. Now, for types of exercise, and if you've got back pain, essentially whatever you can handle that's not on a machine. You see, you think machines make it safer for your back, and they don't. They actually can put way more stress through your back. I remember, God, this was like 14 years ago. A good friend of mine was doing his PhD. I worked at a big chain gym at the time. I had this really fucking cool little portable EMG machine which measures muscle activity. So he'd bring it to the gym and then we'd like put it on ourselves and we'd go around and we would do shit and just see what was activating. So one day we went on to the ab crunch machine, or put your elbows in and then you like crunch, and we put the sensors on the abs, the rectus, and then we put them on to like low back, spinal erectors, things like that. It was kind of amazing. Start doing the ab crunches, the back muscles fired up like 3 times more than the ab muscles. That ab machine was way more affecting and working the low back than it was the abs. Now listen, I recognize this little study has an N of 3, and it was 14 years ago, non-randomized or controlled or anything like that. It was just us fucking around in the gym with cool technology at the time. But we did see that. And then over years training clients, I see it all the time. So if you've got back pain, get off machines. You gotta be doing full body movement stuff. Now I talk about Turkish get-ups all the time. I think that it's the greatest exercise out there. I think you need to be able to do a Turkish get-up. If you have back pain and it hurts, that's telling you there's a problem. If you can't get through that Turkish get-up range because of the back pain, you've got to go fix the back pain, right? Which means you might have to take a cessation from training until you get that fixed, but that's what the pain's telling you. Sort that shit out. Now, there are things when people get fused spines, true arthritis, that you're just always going to have pain, that we can probably work through a little bit differently. But in general, find someone that knows what the fuck they're talking about and do that. Now, the next question in there with the back was anti-inflammatory foods. I should actually make this a whole nother topic. Anti-inflammatory, this is like 32, 31. Anti-inflammatory foods. I don't believe there are anti-inflammatory foods. Maybe if you chew on white willow bark, like the indigenous peoples of North America used to, you can get some anti-inflammatory foods from there. But we've got to revamp how we think about inflammation. I don't believe there's any foods that are be anti-inflammatory. I do believe there's a lot of shit that we eat. Notice I didn't say food, I just said shit that we eat that causes a shit ton of inflammation in us, right? Melissa, is it true that whole grains cause or support inflammation? I have not seen any particular evidence about that. If you're eating the right grains, and that's kind of what I'm going to talk about right here, is if you eat real whole unprocessed food that our bodies can handle, that's how you get rid of inflammation. When you eat super processed white flours, right, that also remember, it's not even just the fact that it's processed white flours. There's additives added to these things That's the stuff that really is going to mess up your body, because your body doesn't understand what all these chemicals are, and xanthan gums, citric acid, which is from corn, FYI, and so is 50 or 60% of the other stuff. Like, our body doesn't really know that stuff. That's where that inflammation is coming from. Plus, if you're not getting enough fiber, right, and vegetable matter into the colon and intestines, you're going to get inflammation, right? Because those bacteria in there aren't doing their job. So you've got to take care of this microbiome. We're going to talk, I know over the next months, we're going to talk about microbiome shit a lot. But that's where, yeah, like, no, I don't think that whole grains that are properly processed are going to cause inflammation. I can't see why our bodies would respond like that, right? But just remember, when you're buying whole grains, it doesn't mean non-processed. The key is non-processed. That's what I really believe. So when you talk about inflammation and back pain, to reduce it, watch what you're eating, right? Like bags of chips and chocolate and deep fried pastries and cake and candy, like fucking candy. It's literally a little ball of sugar and chemicals that we feed to people. Like, that is fucked up. It is fucked up that we eat candy. Like, that shit is a chemical sugar shitstorm, right? But if you're eating that stuff, you're going to mess up that whole gut microbiota. I think if you want to talk about taking care of the inflammation and things like that, microbiome shit, that was actually kind of funny. I didn't even say that on purpose. I think that taking care of our microbiome is the most important thing we can do. And to do that, we've really got to revamp some stuff. My wife and I just watched on the weekend Michael Pollan's In Defense of Food. That's a very good documentary. I talked last week or the week before about his book, The Omnivore's Dilemma. Fantastic book. Read it. Read The Omnivore's Dilemma by Michael Pollan. Read it. But yeah, so I hope that answers a little bit about your back pain, but essentially find someone that knows what they're talking about. If it doesn't go away, focus on full body exercises that go through full ranges of motion and make your body do the work, no machines. And then instead of thinking about anti-inflammation foods, take out the chemical processed stuff that's probably causing the inflammation. Okay, that topic, again, went longer. And now, what time is it? Yeah, this is going to be the final topic. The final topic that we're going to go to, I think, one of the most important things I've ever talked about. Here we go. Next podcast question. All right. Next question I had from someone. At the time, I was like, oh, I can answer this really quickly. And we actually ended up having a little conversation on Instagram about it. And as I've been thinking about it more, and some conversations I've been having with my wife recently, and then for anyone that doesn't know, my undergrad before I did my master's was actually an undergrad in a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology, small group dynamics and social structures. So this is a topic that's really, I don't know why I didn't think it was more important before, and it's really coming to light now. And essentially, she loved the question. She said, it might be a silly question, it's something I've been wanting to ask. What are your thoughts on eating meals while watching TV? Is it horrible? Is it an example of everything that's wrong with humanity? Would we be better off if we ate eating at a table with our family and friends and roommates? Or am I just overthinking it? I think this is probably one of the most important questions I've ever been asked. And I think that it's something everyone needs to pay a lot more attention to. Do I think it's everything wrong with humanity? I actually kind of do. So when we talk about how humans evolved, we are social creatures. We've relied on each other for support forever. The primary goal throughout the entire history of our evolution is to procure enough food to take care of ourselves and to raise our offspring. Celebrating that was what bonded all of our groups, tribes, and societies together. And that was around food and the sharing and eating of food. To share your food with somebody else was the ultimate show of caring, because that was giving away resources to care for yourself and for your immediate family and tribe. So when we look across cultures around the world, the sitting down and sharing of food is a central part of almost every single culture and society. And actually the Michael Pollan documentary In Defense of Food, he actually talks about this quite a bit. this is like a central tenet of most cultures and societies. And even in our, I'm not going to say Western world, it's really North America. And it's not North America, it's Canada and the United States. We have changed that association over getting together and gathering with food. Someone's watching my live stream right now. Hi, Dan Shai, who I think about you guys all the time when I think about this topic. Growing up in the Okanagan, Kelowna, BC, we'd always be having get-togethers, the families getting together, etc. And that would have been like the mid-90s, late 90s, early 2000s. And since then, we've seen this dramatic reduction in all of these, in all of this. About 8 months ago, maybe 10 months ago now, my wife and I decided, because normally we'd come home, we'd make dinner, we'd put on a show that we like and watch the show and eat our dinner. We decided about 10 months ago, you know what, we're going to sit at the table together, put on music, and eat dinner together. And we started doing that, and we've never gone back. On our Takeout Fridays, it's kind of like our treat night. We get our takeout, and usually do Thai, and then we'll put on a show, usually like a mindless show. We've decided that the TV show is SWAT, which is pretty mindless, but it's just good entertainment. That's our Friday night thing, right? So we'll throw that on and do it once a week. But the rest of the time we eat our meal together at the table. Do I think that this is important and vital? I do. In fact, I don't know if there's anything more important and vital that we could possibly do for our health, because that act usually comes with cooking the food, procuring the food, and these are things that are so important. And then that sitting and sharing, taking your time, chewing your food, enjoying the tastes, because this is something that we've noticed so much, is this two things: mindless eating and quick eating. Like running through the McDonald's drive-thru, we'll take our dogs out every day around 1, 2 o'clock, and every time we drive by McDonald's or any fast food place, there's like a lineup in the fucking, it's like Wednesday afternoon at 2 o'clock, and there's a lineup at the McDonald's drive-thru. And people buy the food, and they stuff it in their face while they're driving. It's done in about 5 or 6 minutes. That's terrible. Do you even taste it? Right? We'll visit with friends, and people go grab breakfast, do whatever they want, and like go grab a bunch of donuts, and like before you even think, someone's eaten 2 or 3 donuts. Did you taste it? What was the point of ingesting those calories? You literally just ingested this chemical concocted, deep fried shitstorm of stuff. For what? That's empty. Not even just empty. It's not empty calories. It's actually devastating chemicals that you're ingesting into your body. And you didn't even think about it. You won't even fucking remember eating it 3 days from now. And we need to put far more emphasis on our food and our food systems and what we're eating. Because here's how humanity should work. We should go out together, or maybe in a couple smaller groups, and hunt and gather our food. Today, in Western society, that might mean going to the grocery store. Right? It should mean going to little local farms and local farmers markets versus the grocery store. Unless you're fortunate, and we have a grocery store here that's quite awesome, that has a much better selection and some more local stuff and more in-season stuff. But really what we should do is we should hunt and gather together. And then we should bring that food back to our house, right? And we should prepare it together as a family, right? Together. Or if you're going to have a dinner party, everyone should prepare something that they've put together and bring it over, and then finish that meal off preparing it together. Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat, Samir Nasrat wrote. Watch her TV Netflix show called Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat. The book's also fantastic for anyone that wants to learn to cook. Watch this Netflix show. She's awesome. She's a professional chef. Very, very talented, very well read, putting out really great information. When people come over to her house, she actually makes them part of the cooking process, has them peel things and actually participate in the cooking. When we look through history and we look through other cultures today, preparing that stuff together is a big component of the sharing of those meals. Then, once you've hunted and gathered it together, prepared it together, then you sit down and eat it together. It's a completely different feeling. Like my friend and works for me, physiotherapist, bought me this really cool mushroom growing kit at a local farmer's market a couple weeks ago. I grew all my own oyster mushrooms. It's growing its second round right now. Cooking and eating those mushrooms, because I grew them, is just a totally different experience, right? At night with my wife and I are eating like kimchi or sauerkraut or any of the ferments that I've made. It's a different experience enjoying those things. And I love to share that with other people, because that's the next thing. Once you cook and prepare these things, it's then sharing it with those that are close to you. In Ethiopia, they have a really somewhat very weird for us, but beautiful tradition. I know I'm not going to get everyone to do it. I'm not going to do it because the way I've grown up is just weird. But in Ethiopia, when you're having a meal and you're sitting beside your very good friends or your close family, you want to show them how much they mean to you, and they eat most of their meals with their hands. They'll actually, I cannot remember the name of the bread that they used. They essentially use it as like a scoop to bring in like the food, the rice, the beans, the meats that they're eating. They actually take a scoop of it with this bread and they place it in and feed their friend, actually put it in their mouth. Creeps you out a little bit, right? But it's really fucking beautiful. Like, I get teary-eyed. I'm not even fucking joking when I think about this. So I'm live streaming. If I start crying on live stream, fuck. But it's just beautiful. What other way could you ever show someone so much love and care and compassion than by sharing that from you to them in a really interesting way? Biologically, there's also a lot of stuff to that, right? Sharing of bacteria, improving our gut microbiome, eating with our hands, touching other people's mouths, these things, right? So we see a lot of this evolution of food sharing also in part with our physiology. These things are really, really important. And it all works together. And so do I think it's an example of everything that's wrong with humanity? Is it horrible that we grab our food and watch TV, or we don't even think about it, or we eat in the car, or like I watch people go, like, they run to the hockey tournament. It's like, oh, we'll grab something quick on the road and then like stuff that in. Good morning, Karen. We stuff that into our face and we're not even thinking about it. We've got rid of this whole system. And it's not about people now in Western culture, oh, these are just like traditional Christian values and I'm not Christian, so it doesn't matter. It's not about this. Is an evolutionary thing of the sharing, preparing food together and the cooking and all of these things. And I do think that it is a huge part of why we have so many health issues today and why people eat so much bad food, is we have gotten rid of these traditions. And it scares me. It scares me that I have people say to me all the time, well, we just don't have time. We don't have time to do this. I'm like, you've got to fucking make time to do this. Because having a meal together with your family over the course of the next 30 years, doing that at least 5 or 6 nights a week over the next 30 years, I promise you, is so much more important than getting in the extra sports practice. It just is. It just is. And if you can make the time to watch a Netflix show or to do 4 different sports or whatever it is, you can make the time for this. Even at this point, if it can just be 2 or 3 nights a week, I do think it's... And when you do it, I know I sound like a curmudgeon-y old fart right now. Maybe they're onto something, those curmudgeon-y old farts, huh? Maybe they are. When you do this, when you share this meal together, don't have the phones around, don't have the TV on, just be there interacting with each other. And I love technology. I fucking use Instagram and I'm on 18 different channels right now as I record this. We do need times where we step back and we step away from that. And this is when it should be. It should be during our meals. It should be during our meals. That is the essence, the backbone, the foundation of our cultures. And that we're losing that. And we see cultures around the world that are much more cohesive and take care of each other a lot better. And all of them, it's the backbone of what you see. And I really think that it's important that we bring that back. So, do I think that you're being crazy and that you're just way overeating this or overthinking this stuff, Nicole? No, I don't. I think you've brought to light a really fantastic question that everybody needs to think a lot more about. and make sure they're incorporated into their life. And if you're single and you're depressed, you have a dog or a cat and literally sit there and eat with them. It's okay. But have that, put that together. I'm not inviting everybody over to my house. But yeah, so it's really important. Yes, Melissa, mindfulness has more benefits, and we are going to talk about that kind of stuff too. Because when we talk about a lot of these things, people get all, oh, that's really left-wing spiritual craziness, because I think that a lot of the really left-wing spiritual people focus on this more, and they're really bad at delivering this message. Just the same way that like vegans and vegetarians are really bad at delivering the message of the importance of plants to people that aren't vegans and vegetarians. Meals together and sharing food and sitting down, turning off the TV, putting the phones away, I think is one of the most important things that you can do for your health and the health of all of your loved ones. All right, perfect. Live stream, thank you for watching. I'm going to go do the conclusion of the podcast. I think that's all the topics for today. I thank you for participating, and I thank you for all the comments and questions. If you have more, post them. The podcast will be out later, and I'm going to have a YouTube video on it, and this will stay live on my page too. So thank you guys so much for joining in. All right, YouTube, we're just going to hit up the outro, and then we'll edit this up later, post that. Beautiful. All right, everybody, that was episode 47 of Coach Taylor Radio, and yes, I did actually almost cry. I had some tears there. I get really emotional, not about food, about sharing and preparing food, and I think it's just instinct. It's just built into our DNA as humans, and I think it's really, really important. So I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. Yeah, there's another topic I want to talk to, but we're going to talk about next week. It'll probably be pretty controversial. But you know me, I love talking about controversial shit. If you have any more questions, send them my way. I am very easy to get a hold of. I very much appreciate you taking the time to do this. If you want to train with me or my team, ttonline.ca. We are, and it starts today. So if you listen to this podcast this week, we can still jump in on it. We are doing a spring challenge just based on my Odyssey that has, cooking food and all this stuff is in there. It is a part of it. That's the whole purpose of this Odyssey thing that I'm doing, is to try to add these things into our life that are so important. But yeah, so check that out. That was episode 47. If there's anything you want me to talk about for episode 49 or beyond, please do not hesitate to send me a message. Enjoy your week.